going on, you guys? This is Madam, and I'm coming to you again. This article is from Law and Crime, and it is about two classmates that were friends. One accused the other of getting them expelled from high school. They have a lengthy history, and this is kind of a lengthy article. So, there will be some trigger warnings as to unaliving and other situations that may not be for everyone. So, please keep that in mind before you watch this video. It says, get shovel and lighter fluid ready. Man unalived former friend and classmate for getting him expelled from high school. The article writer is Colin Kalmbacher, and it says Aranda Briones, Justice for Aranda Isabel Briones, owner Owen Shover, Riverside County Sheriff's Department, Briones at school, Montero Valley Police Department. A California man will likely spend the rest of his life behind bars for the disappearance and revenge unaliving of a classmate who he blamed for getting him expelled from high school several years ago. Owen Schuyler Shover, age 23, hails from Hesperia, a large city in San Bernardino County, located some 80 miles northeast of Los Angeles. In January 2019, the defendant unalived Ariana's Isabel Bronis, age 16, and then buried her somewhere in unforgiving San Bernardino mountains nearby. The date the girl remains have never to this date the girl remains has never been found. On Wednesday, Shiver was convicted by a jury of his peers on one count of unaliving in the first degree, along with a special circumstances of lying in wait. Under Golden State law, special circumstances are especially sentencing enhancements that, if applied, must result in one of two outcomes: life in prison or the death penalty. On January 13, 2019, two of the girls' friends saw her get into the since condemned man's car at Bayside Park in Montero Valley in Riverside County. After that, she vanished. The only trace of the girl left was her blood, found pooled in the trunk of Chevelle's Nissan Versa. But the relationship between the killer and the victim went back much further. The two were friends who attended Montero Valley High School together. On November 7th, 2017, a group of students, including the ill-fated pair, were hanging out at a local park instead of attending classes. Shiver had a small handgun in his possession that day. When a truancy officer broke up the party, Shiver threw the weapon to Bronos and shouted for her to hide it, according to a trial brief prepared by Riverside County District Attorney Mike Heston and obtained by City News Service, a California-based wire service. Bronos panicked. She threw the gun into a drainage canal and apparently got caught disposing of the firearm. When questioned by the enforcement and school officials, she finally told the truth. The gun belonged to Shiver, and he was once, and then, and he was the one who gave it to her. In February 2018, both Bronos and Sherbert were expelled. The girl moved to another school but stayed in the district, while the boy was forced to move in with his father in Hesperia. I hope I said that right. Hesperia, some 50 miles north out. The inland empire with its adjacencies to Southern California coastline and a border Los Angeles metro area. In the decidedly more remote, perched environs of the Mojave Desert, with its concomitant sagebrush, Joshua trees, and cactus after cactus. During a jury trial that began on August 12th, prosecutors argued that Shiver nursed his bitterness for nearly a year in the dry heat. Law enforcement cataloged a series of social media and interactions from November 2018 through January 2019, in which the defendant tried to and eventually did obtain another handgun. Then on January the 12th, 2019, Shiver asked Bronos to hang out with him again. He promised something of a Wild West to the girl in the text message cited by prosecutors. She would accompany him on drug deliveries and ride along as he robbed drug dealers. That's not cool. For whatever reason, a breach seemingly repaired the thrill of crimes that could barely be punished. The girl agreed. They met at Bayside Park at 5 p.m. the next day, and within an hour, she was posting photos of the old friends being reunited. Happiness to be with the homie once more, glee at being allowed to do some of the driving, but the hour was only golden for just about that long. Minutes after 6 p.m., the car was heading north towards a trailer park in San Bernardino County. Along the way, Shiver messaged his brother, "Be ready for tonight. Get shovels and lighter fluid ready." Then the boys headed into the tall mountains, taking State Route 138 and 18 between roughly 8 p.m. and 10:15 p.m. There is no good indication of exactly where they traveled due to the lack of cellular phone data. Owen Shiver's phone only turned back on again when he returned to his father's house in Grayvilla, Grayviella Street. Gary Anthony Shiver, age 27, pled guilty in March to one count of accessory after the fact. He was sentenced to 1 year in county jail, followed by 12 months of probation. The older brother was initially charged with Bruno's unaliving and the lying in wait enhancement as well, but the charge was dismissed in 2022. In the end, the elderly Sherber admitted to the cover up, but the undenying crime, according to the report by City News Service, a neighbor said she saw investigators retrieving clothing blankets from holes in their backyard, evidence used to charge them both. While the owner's brother took the plea deal, the younger brother opted for the 6-day trial. After over a day of deliberations, Riverside County jurors sealed his fate. Due to the death penalty effectively non existent in California, which it is, he faced a mandatory term of life in prison without the possibility of parole when he was sentenced on October 25th. Okay, so that is the end of the article. A sad case all around, and it created more victims than it did to actually help it. He actually got his family to help him cover up the crime. Uh, I mean, you can look at it in a lot of different ways. If your son is wrong, if he is mad about that, but ultimately it was him that made that decision on that fateful day to even possess a gun and to pass it off to someone. And that's what accountability comes into play when you have these. This is just an example of some situations that people can find themselves in terms of making decisions, and then to want to escape accountability and hand it off to another person, which was unfortunately the Ms. Bronos. And she paid the ultimate price for that. I mean, she did do the right thing. She wasn't going to take someone else's charge. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really can't be mad at her for not wanting to take somebody else's charge. And I think that's what it all boils down to: his decision to actually carry the weapon in the first place, and him passing it off to Bronos, and then ultimately Bronos not being okay with accepting another person's charge. Given any state, you can face a good amount of time for the gun and bullets in said gun. Okay, so she did do the right thing in that aspect and did come clean. This is not mine. I was helping a friend, which is all true, from what I can gather. And he ultimately had to pay for what he did, that initial decision that he made. So you know most people will be like, okay, I did that, but again, he was not, you know, taking accountability for his actions. He just assumed that another person was willing to give a slice of their life or a piece of their life to, rot into rot in jail for what? Just to say we the bros, we down? No, that's crazy. But this is one of the outcomes that can happen. Apparently, he could not let that go. It wasn't in his interest to take any accountability for any of the decisions that he's made, and he was obviously upset and took his rage and frustration out on his friend, which ultimately led his brother and his father to assist him in covering up the crime. Nobody there from him to the father and brother exercised any type of moral judgment or accountability. Yes, that's your son. Yes, that's your brother, but he did something that he wasn't supposed to do. And it all stemmed because he refused to take responsibility for his actions or his decisions. So, yeah, like I said, really tragic. I'm glad that he was put in jail with special circumstances that'll give him a lot of time to reflect and maybe at some point take accountability for his decisions that he made and his actions. So I'm glad that the Bronos family, that they got some sort of justice. No, that won't bring back their loved one at the end of the day, but that person that took their life and the people that assisted him, on some level, won't possibly do that again or won't do that again. But I don't know, you guys. Tell me what you think. Drop down in the comment section as we always do. I would love to hear from you, so come chop it up with me. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And with that, you guys, thank you so much. I do appreciate you watching this video through all my bumbles and stumbles. And I will get with you in the next one.